In those days after that tribulation, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from the sky, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. This gospel today, in the beginning at least, talks about darkness and light, and pretty much talks a lot about darkness and not too much about light, although it does mention stars, and that has something with light to do about it. So we're thinking, well, this must be John talking more about darkness and light, because this is what John does in every single gospel. Not every single gospel, it's one of his main themes is darkness and light. That's what John does. But hold up a second. Our gospel wasn't from John, was it? No. Who was our gospel writer today? Who knows who our gospel writer was today without cheating and looking in your book? Mark. Very good. All right, so this is Mark, which shows us what? That John does not have a monopoly on this whole theme of light and darkness. Mark is talking about it as well, how there's darkness in this world, and we're in the midst of it right now somewhat, but there's also light, and even talks about stars. But once again, this isn't the first time we hear about stars. We also hear about stars in the first reading, which was from who? Daniel. Very good in the back, all right? I love the peanut gallery coming through. All right, so Daniel, all right? Daniel mentions stars as well. And what does Daniel say? At the end he says, "But the wise shall shine brightly, like the splendor of the firmament, and those who lead the many to justice shall be like the stars forever." Shining brightly. Those who lead people to justice. Those who are holy, those who are loving, those who try to inspire the faith in other people. These who will be stars that burn forever. Stars who burn forever. Kind of like saints with God in heaven. Now you and I, hopefully in our life, have encountered people like this. People who in the midst of darkness shed some light in our life. I know that I have gone through many dark periods of my life. Not like dark, but times of questioning and times of wondering what's going on. And this especially happened in high school. I think every single high school student is confused a little bit at that time, right? The way they act, the way they talk back to their parents, they have to be confused and misinformed, right? So I know I was this way as well, but I had someone that I could go to back then. Someone who kind of showed me the way and let me know that everything was going to be all right. And this person was a teacher at Cretin-Derham Hall. He's actually a legend. He's since passed away, but his name was Brother Alphonsus Martel. If you ever went to Cretin-Derham Hall from like 1970 and on, you know who Brother Martel is. Well, everyone in my family got to know Brother Martel very well because we started working for Cretin-Derham Hall at Cretin-Derham Hall for work study, and we always got put in Brother Martel's work crew, which means that we worked outside all summer long, and Brother Martel would tell us what to do. It was great and so much fun. Not really, but it was good to know Brother Martel. And during the school year, I'd often stop by Brother Martel's classroom before school started, and I'd let him know what's going on in my life, how much trouble I was having, how I got in a fight with my dad, or how I got in a fight with my mother or my brother or sister. It happened often. Or how I was probably failing out of school. I never really did, but I always told him I just can't make it. And Brother Martel, every single morning or in the afternoon, or whenever he saw me, would just say, "Alex, it's going to be all right. Put your trust in God. God is going to take care of you." And I needed that in high school. I needed someone to be there for me. Let me know that, you know what, it's not really that bad. That God is with me. Brother Martel, when I was in high school, was that light, was that star in the midst of darkness. And I've had many, many other people do this for me as well. And I hope that you have as well. But Brother Martel does not have a monopoly on this either. He's not the only person that's called to be someone great, called to be someone that sheds light in darkness. All of us are called to be this. All of us are called to be stars that shine brightly in the midst of darkness. We're called to be examples for other people. Of course, our greatest example of this, by the way, is Jesus Christ. In the midst of darkness, he's there for us. Back then, now, and in the future. But you and I are called to be bright stars as well. People in the midst of darkness for other people as well. We're called to help out and show people the way of faith. Maybe it's for your grandchildren. Maybe it's for your son or daughter. Maybe it's for that coworker of yours who's going through a really hard time, or that friend you haven't talked to in a couple years but you know is struggling. What you are called to do is to go and help them out and see that it's not really that bad. As a matter of fact, life is good. Life is great. Life is beautiful because we have God with us. Even in the midst of darkness, there is light. You are called to be this light for those people around you, for those people who God has entrusted to you. And when you do this, what are you going to be? You are going to be like we heard from the prophet Daniel today. You are going to be like the stars that shine forever, even in the midst of darkness.